There's nothing like sweating your butt off in summertime and then jumping in a truck. Nothing like it. At least I have air conditioning in here. I just finished 900 cases, unloading, sorting out, breaking down the whole nine. Got it done in about an hour and a half. This is Alabaster, Alabama. It's south of Birmingham, right off of I-65. Okay, and what we're doing is we're going back up toward Birmingham now. I'm gonna bypass on 459 and then jump back on I-20 and head east on I-20 till we get to Anniston. That's our next place. And the next place is, well, it's not more convenient to get in and out of, but it's more convenient as in they do all the work. They take the pallet off, they count it off, they do everything at this next place, so I don't have to touch it. But it is kind of fun trying to back into their dock because it's really set up for like a Class B box truck and not a tractor trailer, but you can do it. It's just, you got to do some fancy curb work to get it in there, you know. I'll show you what I mean when we get there. But yeah, heading up I-65 now, back to 459. Yeah, I just wanted to make this opening clip and say, yeah, there's nothing like getting straight to work on Monday morning. Like right away, here comes the work, here comes the heavy work. But I kind of look forward to it because it pays well and it's not that hard to do. Okay, in about 2.5 miles, we've got that interchange, that 459 and I-20 interchange on the east side of Birmingham. Now it's a good, I want to say maybe 70-80 miles between Alabaster and Anniston. But my main reason for making this video is because there's an interesting route. It's a newer route that I came up with that's gonna get me from Anniston, Alabama to McDonough, Georgia without the interstate. Totally independent of getting on the interstate whatsoever. It's kind of an interesting one. I'll break it down for you when we're actually doing it. We're going that way. Right now I'm still about 45 minutes out from Alabaster, but I wanted to film this interchange right here because it's kind of, it's just another one of those interesting interchanges that they have in Alabama. I think maybe the most famous one is in Birmingham, and it's, I've heard it called Malfunction Junction before, and there's a good reason why. In fact, if you've been through Birmingham on I-20, especially coming from the east side, you know what I'm talking about. That little section on the interstate where you got to slow down to like 45 miles per hour because there's a really sharp curve. And it's basically where I-59 splits off from I-20. If you're going west, it does. If you're going, if you're going east, it does. If you're going west, which is the direction that I'm talking about, they actually come together right there. And then not too much further down the road from there, you got the interchange with I-65 in downtown Birmingham. But this one, I don't know, it's kind of like 285, sort of. It kind of reminds me of that interchange where 85 comes together with 285 on the south side. It's very similar, actually. Not completely, but it's pretty similar. I just remember taking this route a lot back in the day, like not long after I first started driving, and there's a steep hill coming up. I hate to do that to you, buddy, but I want to get around Heartless Express right here. I don't think it was that big of a deal that you had to jump in the left lane with your wide load. I mean, seriously, I don't think that was necessary. I would have been out of your way within a matter of maybe 15 seconds, see? So you kind of blew that out of proportion. It's not like I'm going 50 miles an hour and I cut you off in the center lane. I'm doing 70. I'm doing the dang speed limit. And now this guy right here, he's trying to pass old Transport America in front of us. Whatever happened to Transport America? Does anybody know? Did they get bought out by CFI? Does that company even exist anymore? Because I see their trailers still, but I don't ever see Transport America trucks. Like every time I see a Transport America trailer, it's connected to a CFI truck. So I don't actually know if that company is still around anymore. It's just kind of bad because I used to work for that company. You guys, I used to be over the road with Transport America. I didn't even do it for a year though. I did it for maybe 9 months or so. I mean, it didn't pay good at all. It was actually really lousy pay, but it was better than Schneider. I'm gonna try to pass him and see if he's driving a CFI truck. I'm gonna say yeah, he is, because it's no, actually it says TA dedicated on it. This guy really needs to get out of the center lane, like seriously. And he's just blocking it all up. And I'm gonna have to get close to him to get back over in the right lane. But he's just determined that he's gonna pass this oversized load. And if he might pass him, but the thing is, when we flatten back out, the oversized load is gonna be gone. He's gonna pass everybody again. So Now he's boxed in. And he's about to get pissed off at me. Well, dude, you had it. You didn't have to get back over in the right lane. I mean, it's not my fault. I'll be out of your way as soon as I get in front of this guy. What the hell are you honking at, man? Screw you. We'll see if he can catch up with me. He can't, he's not even, he's just blocking the center lane now. Yeah, you can't even freaking catch up with me. The real reason why you've just honked your stupid horn at me is because it bruised your ego to have to sit there and get boxed in like that, even though you did it. It had nothing to do with me. You come over in the freaking left lane trying to freaking pass me. I'm legitimately passing another truck, and it's so important for you to get in front of me that you're gonna get in the left lane to try to do it, even though you're so heavy because you're hauling a freaking excavator. Do you really have any freaking business in the freaking left lane trying to pass anybody? Hell no, you don't. Mr. Train Horn, I didn't mean to get that on camera. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. But yeah, some people, they just freaking piss me off to no end. Like, dude, still, I've been sitting here running my mouth for the last 10 minutes and that guy still hasn't caught up with me. Like I'm holding him up or something. No, you can't even catch up with me, dude. You know why? Because I got one pallet on my freaking trailer and you're hauling a freaking excavator. It's called physics. It trumps ego. All your ego can do is make you look stupid, like a bonehead trucker. All right, here's our exit. Anniston. Actually, I need to be in this lane right here. There he goes. Sorry guys, that kind of just completely changed the whole vibe of the whole video. Wasn't expecting all that drama to take place. It kind of just set me off. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I have road rage a little bit. And it's like you can't help it. You can't help but to not have road rage because of, you know, being subjected to stuff like this on a daily basis. But I try to, you know, I try to work with it. I try to stay calm. I try to, you know, cope with the aggravating stuff, the irritating stuff, without getting upset or without, you know, letting negative emotions drive me while I'm doing my job. I just try to stay calm. But when people do stuff like that, it kind of just sets me off, to be honest with you. It's like I didn't do anything wrong. So this right here that we're getting on, this is US 78. And now all of my interstate driving is done for the rest of the day. I'm not going to get back on the interstate. Instead, I'm going to show you this cool newer route that I've been using lately. I've been using it for a while, I just haven't filmed it. And as soon as we get out of this next place, I'll start talking about it, but I just want to show you where it is. And I'll literally be here for maybe 5 minutes, if that. Like, it's not gonna take long at all. This is a fun little intersection if you're coming from the other way. You're going west on 78 and you got to make a right turn into this road right here. Yeah, it's a kind of a fun one, kind of a tight turn. And it's just down here on the right, but it's, like I said, it's basically set up for Class B trucks and not really tractor trailers. So it's pretty tight once you come in here, and I kind of have to like flip it around. I just got a phone call from my dispatcher telling me that he's getting like alerts from the camera right there saying that my following distance is too close, but when he watches the video, the vehicles in front of me are like half a mile in front of me. So there's something going on with my radar that's making it look like I'm following too close, but I'm not. Oh crap, there's a van blocking their dock. They're gonna have to move that. This is it though, and it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and set my differential lock. Wait for this guy to move his van. I like this place. They're really nice here. They do everything. Like, they don't even really hardly expect you to get out of the truck here. I still do, but oh no, don't park right there. Oh my gosh. They're not gonna make this easy. I know I'm kind of blocking the parking spots, but you can fit over here if you try. I'm gonna have to like play some musical chairs. I'm gonna let them back up first. I'm gonna try to do this even though that SUV is sitting there now. It's gonna, I need to pull like all the way up into there, but that stupid SUV is like right in my dang way now. So I'm gonna have to turn it even sharper. Which means I'm gonna have to come up over the curb down here to get wide enough to do this. I'm gonna have to drop off the edge of the curb right here, like that, and then pull it back around like this. Now turn the wheel all the way to the left. And it doesn't have to be perfect here. It just has to be straight enough for them to put the dock plate down. God, that's not good at all. See, if I was going for straight, no. I totally screwed that one up for myself. Yeah, I'm gonna get straight with it, but my tractor's not gonna be straight now. Well, I can probably fix it as soon as the road clears back up. Okay. And see, I don't have to open my doors first here because they actually swing out right over top of that dock. So that's another convenient thing about this place. Try to bump the dock without hitting it too hard, you know. There it is, right there. And that's how I do that. Easy peasy, sort of. Okay, I'm leaving Anniston now. I would have had another stop, but it's not, they didn't put the stuff on the trailer. It was only 5 cases and they didn't put it on my trailer, so I can't go there without their stuff. We have a task that's been set before us. What we have to do is get from Anniston, Alabama to McDonough, Georgia without touching the interstate, without getting on the interstate at all, because I'm just done with it for the day. I don't feel like dealing with it anymore. I don't even like the interstate, so if I can avoid it, I will. It's not for me. I'd rather just keep to the small roads, you know, take a little countryside drive and make money while I do it. So I'm not really trying to get back on the interstate. And see, that's usually my prerogative. So it doesn't matter where I am, unless I am really far away from where I dispatch, I'm gonna try to avoid the interstate. And you can do that. You do have some options when it comes to getting from here to McDonough. And that's the main purpose of this video, is to show you how you can do it. Now there's, like I said, a few ways that you can do it. There's US 431, which you can go south on. Eventually that's gonna run into US 280, which would mean that you'd be going out of the way quite a bit, actually, if you went that way. But you can do it. US 280 will take you back to Georgia, but then you'll be down there, like, kind of more south than McDonough. So what I do is I start out right here with US 78 and I go east on 78, which is going to take you to a few more towns, and eventually I break off of US 78 and I get on Alabama State Highway 49 and take that. And what that does is you just keep going east on that road and it turns into Georgia Highway 161, I believe is what it is. If not, I'll correct myself when we get on it. But you're basically almost in Carrollton at that point. You just keep following, I think it's 166, not 161, but 166, which takes you through Carrollton, and eventually it's going to take you to Georgia Highway 16 and you alternate US 27, which both go to Newnan, which if you're in a truck you can't drive through Newnan, so I bypass Newnan and then I get back on Georgia 16 and keep going east, and that takes you to Griffin. And as you guys, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that Griffin is like right down below McDonough, and they're pretty much right next to each other. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It takes a little bit longer than using the interstate. One cool thing about this road is that you will actually come up on the it's the Talladega National Forest, same city where the NASCAR track is, you know, Talladega Raceway or whatever, same city. See 431's right there, so you just literally turn right and go south on 431 until you get to 280, and then you go east on 280. And if you follow 280, eventually you get to Columbus, Georgia. But we're not doing any of that because we're further north, so we don't really need to go south to get back to Georgia. But this is a nice looking road, some nice scenery out here for sure. It smells like manure out here or slurry. It freaking stinks. Woo! So you do have this little city right here on the way. Thus far, really all we've been doing is kind of running parallel with I-20, but we're like north of I-20 on US 78. But once we get past this town, US 78 is, like I said, we're gonna break off of it and we're gonna be on this Alabama State Route 49. I'm not sure what this city is either. I didn't even see a sign with the name of the city on it, so I'm not really sure what city this is. It might be Heflin or something like that. I don't know. It's got a Piggly Wiggly. Yeah. Not a bad little small town Americana kind of place. Come around the bend right here. Yeah, this is Heflin. Sorry, that was a pretty good guess, actually. Yeah, that's what city this is, Heflin. I think that's actually named after a person that was pretty famous for, like, they were a pretty big deal, but I can't remember why they were such a big deal. Maybe I'll put that on the screen if I can figure out who they were and what they did that was so important. But this is where 78 parts ways with our route. It goes that way. Continues to go east. And that'll take you to Georgia, but I don't really want to be in that part of Georgia that it'll take you to. It's quicker to go this way. Now the first city that you come into once you get into Georgia, it's called Bowdoin, Georgia. So you get to Bowdoin and then you get to Carrollton, which we're not really gonna, we're kind of gonna bypass Carrollton. We're not really gonna be in the busy main part of that city, but yeah, we'll be going through it, just kind of on the outer rim of it. But we're actually going to cross over I-20 just a little bit down the road from here, and then we're going to be kind of headed in the southeast direction toward Bowdoin. So yeah, as promised, we're gonna cross right over top of I-20 right here. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Like, we're on the north side of I-20, now we're gonna be on the south side of it. Just like that. Sorry, it's Alabama 46. I'm so off today. It's not 49, it's 46. My bad. I'll have to fix that in editing. Now, normally when I go to Alabaster, I don't come back this way. I actually go a different way that's more on point with that other route that I was telling you about earlier with US 280. I do get on 280 for a little while when I'm going back to McDonough from Alabaster, but because I had to drop back up, you know, to the same kind of area, the same latitude as Birmingham in order to get to Anniston today, then I just had to settle with going back this way. I try to avoid that because I'd rather show you the other route than this route. This is a good route, but I'm just saying I would rather show you the other one. And I probably will eventually, but I just couldn't avoid it today. I had to go to Alabaster first and then go to Anniston second. Mainly because of the appointment times. I couldn't like switch them up, otherwise I would have. Because it would have been a lot more convenient to go drop by Anniston on my way over to Alabaster because I was already on the interstate. And then, you know, if I didn't have to come back up here to Anniston, I could have just went straight back from Alabaster, which would have prevented me from getting on 65 North and 459 and all that. Because I actually, the way that I get back from Alabaster, when I'm just going straight back to McDonough from there, is I get on 65 South and take that all the way down to, I think it's US 30. And then that road will link you up with US 280, like much further south. Nothing but countryside out here. Nice wide open spaces, clear roads. I love it. I would much rather do this than take the interstate, even if it takes longer to go this way. I'd just rather do this, you know. Better scenery, clearer roads, less stress. Less super truckers breathing down my neck for doing my job. Nice day though. Hot, but nice day. I don't usually start getting miserable from the summertime until about the second week of July. And then at that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm over this. Come on, November, get here. But the first part of summer, it doesn't bother me that bad. Pretty cool storms at night and all that stuff too. You guys see this land though, right? I mean, it's beautiful out here. Nice green rolling hills. It's nice. Basically, you're in the foothills, the Appalachian foothills. That, yeah, they come this far south in Alabama. Kind of crazy to think about. It is a nice day to be driving a truck though, seriously. I couldn't say that if I didn't have air conditioning though. Okay, there's some more nice land right there up on the hill. Now we're entering into the final town in Alabama on this road. It's called Ranburne. There's not a lot to this place, it's pretty small. But they drive their tractors up to the general store here. So that's pretty cool. That's how you know you're in small town America. Tractors everywhere here. Okay, so then, you know, we're pretty much right here on the state line of Georgia, and this is where Alabama 46 becomes Georgia 166. And we're gonna take this all the way to Carrollton and stay on this road. It's gonna veer off to the right, which I believe it's just, you know, kind of going south a little bit from that point. But we're not gonna be on it much longer after we make that right turn. it turns into a 4-lane divided, somewhat of an expressway, but it has traffic lights on it, so not really an expressway, but it's kind of like that. And then we're gonna turn right. We're actually gonna get off at the exit for alternate US 27 and Georgia Highway 16 and head toward Noonan from there. I just love driving through areas like this. It's so peaceful and just calming. And here's the state line. Carroll County. 166. The next city will be that Bowdoin city I was talking about. That didn't take long at all. We're in Bowdoin now. It's another old city. Again, kind of nice here though. Nice and quiet. Okay, there is a state route 100 right here, which if you turned left and you went north, it would take you back to I-20, which we're not gonna do, but it's, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it's just kind of a cool place. Older, a little interesting. Right on the state line. Sorry guys, I'm a little out of it, a little pooped today. Yeah, it's not usually hard unloading the freight that I have to unload, but when it gets hot outside, it's just because your body's working like 3 times harder to keep yourself cool. It actually, it can be kind of exhausting doing it in the heat. It sucks, but it's probably good for you to do it. So I mean, it's not like you're out in the sun doing it. You're just in a closed up warehouse with no airflow doing it. Just thankful I have air conditioning in my truck now. Like earlier this spring, I didn't have any air conditioning in here. It was broken. I had to turn it in and get it fixed, and it took a long time for them to fix it. So it was like in the mid 80s and I had no AC. So I would just literally, like on my way back after I'd already made my appointments and everything and I was headed back to the warehouse, I would just freaking take my shirt off, you know. It just drive with a tank top on. People like staring and pointing at me like I'm some kind of white trash trucker or something with a wife beater on driving a truck. But you can't help it. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to cool down. And I didn't look very professional at the time doing it, but it did help me cool off. All right, we're coming up on that right turn where 166 is gonna veer. Well, it says east. I thought it was south. I mean, it seems like it would make more sense. I guess overall you're going in an eastward direction, but if we make a right turn up here, we're gonna be going south. So, oh crap. You got me. And this is considered, I would consider this Carrollton right here. We're not in the city limit district of it, like the commercial part, but, well, actually there's a sign right there that says Carrollton city limit. And we're not gonna see like the city part of Carrollton, but we are in it right now, briefly, just briefly. As I was saying, this road, it's gonna split up here and become a 4-lane divided highway. Kind of like an expressway with exits and stuff, but there's still traffic lights on the road. And it can get kind of thick right here sometimes during the day. Traffic will get a little bit thick right here. But we're not going to be on this road for much longer. We're going to get on alternate 27 and 16 up here. Traffic's kind of bad right now. And it's going to be like, it's going to get thick. Like, I have to go up there to Newnan, but I can't actually drive through the city. I have to go around on the bypass. I'm not allowed to go straight through, and traffic is pretty bad in Newnan. You see the sign right there, alternate 27. Anyway, this road, it's gonna go on for a while before we actually get to Newnan. But there's a bypass road. I forget what highway it is. It is a highway. I think it's 34, Georgia 34. But it's the Newnan bypass, and I got to turn left on it once we get to Newnan. Okay, there is this whole other city here that I totally forgot about. It's called Whitesburg, in between Carrollton and Newnan. It's what I love about driving in Georgia. I mean, there's a lot of downside to it. The traffic and, you know, the Atlanta area, metropolitan area, whatever you want to call it, all that traffic. But there's almost always an alternative way to get somewhere other than the main highways, you know? Like, I can usually always figure out an alternate way to go when I'm in Georgia, and it's not hard. It's not that difficult to figure it out. It's really not. There's not a whole lot you have to worry about as long as you know how to pay attention to signs. Like what we've got coming up here, where I said I have to get on the bypass because I can't go straight through. The only thing telling you that is this little sign on the side of the road, and it's not even that noticeable unless you're looking out for it. The first time I came through here, I almost overlooked it, and I almost went through Newnan as a through truck, which I could have gotten in trouble for doing. But I spotted the sign at the last second, and I was like, oh crap, this is a bypass, I gotta get on it. So yeah, as long as you know what to look for, you're good with doing stuff like this. It's no problem. It's easy. But every state is different. That's why I say Georgia is really good, because believe me, there's plenty of other states where it's not easy to do stuff like this. The roads are more complicated in other states, for sure. Like Pennsylvania, oh my God, like Eastern Pennsylvania, yeah, those roads, are crazy. And they're very technical, very confusing roads. It's not like that in Georgia. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's just that some of these cities don't mind trucks, and others, it's the first thing they're looking for is for a truck to drive through their city that is not supposed to be on a certain road, and they'll nail you here. If you screw up, they'll nail you. They catch you doing it, that's all it takes. Okay, we got that bypass coming up at the next traffic light. Georgia 34 Junction bypass. Okay, there's one sign right here. One little white sign that says no through trucks. 10 wheels or more and or tandem axles prohibited by the city of Newnan. I was thinking back, and I don't think I've ever had to go to Newnan in a truck before that I can recall. I always drive past it on 85, or I always used to, you know. So I know where it is, but I don't think I ever had any business in, like any loads or anything in Newnan before. If I did, it was like right off the interstate. Right off of 85, which we'll be crossing under in a few minutes. But this is like the worst part of this route to me. I don't like this road right here. It's really busy and it just stays packed out. But at least it is a 4-lane, you know, so it could be worse. My first time coming through here, I was thinking, great, like how am I gonna get back on 16 from here? But it's pretty straightforward. You just keep going straight and you're gonna pass one last highway up here. I forget which highway it is. And you just stay on this road, and you're gonna drive, I think you drive under I-85. And you keep going, and then there's just a small little access road up here, like way up here on the left, that'll get you back to 16. I'll show you. It's real busy up here though. So yeah, that other highway I was talking about, it's actually 34. Same road that we're on right now. I guess maybe it has like a business route that goes through Newnan. And then this is the bypass route. So they're both 34. See all this traffic though, it's crazy. Okay, come on, let's get through this light. Do you guys notice over there, there's like a triple left turning lane over there? That's crazy. It's kind of rare, you don't see that very often around here. So you literally just go straight across, and this isn't really anything right here. This isn't a highway or anything like this. Is just a standard commercial zoned road right here. But this is the truck route to get to 16, get back to 16. It's the only way to do it since they won't let you go through Newnan. So there is another road up here on the left we have to get on. It's called Turkey Creek Road. And it's coming up in a mile and a half. So yeah, first time I made this turn, I was just like, okay, I got my fingers crossed. It says it'll take me right back out to Highway 16. Never know until you try. And see, now we're going under 85, Interstate 85, right here. So yeah, it's probably a 10-minute delay having to go that way and bypass Newnan. But it's not that bad overall. Traffic varies. You know, it is what it is. And it's still better than taking the interstate, in my opinion. And some places that you go to, like some cities and stuff, all they want to do is just box trucks in and restrict them to like 1 or 2 roads going through their whole city. And like McDonough is really bad about that. The city that I dispatch out of, like there's only a handful of roads that trucks are actually allowed on in McDonough. The rest of them are restricted. Which it just, sometimes it can make things an absolute nightmare. It's not that the truck won't fit on the road, it's not that it's residential, it's just that they don't want the truck on the road because they want all the trucks to use one road instead of having options. Because I guess they figure, well, it's better to have all the trucks screw up one single road than trucks going here and going there and gradually screwing up all the roads. I guess that's the way they look at it. And I'm sure it's expensive and it's definitely inconvenient to repair the road, so I guess they have a good argument for it, but it sucks. When you're actually the one that has to deal with the restriction and it's affecting you, it sucks. But this is 16, we made it back. On the other side of Newnan. We just went completely around it. Now, we're gonna be on this road for quite a way. And it's gonna actually bring us right into the city of Griffin. But between here and there, there's really not that much to show you. Not really. Traffic varies on this road too. Sometimes it can be awful. Sometimes it can be pretty good. I'll let you know how it's going.